Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm getting a late start today. My youngest had one of those annual doctor checkups. The kid's fine, he just had that checkup thing. So it messed up my schedule. I didn't have to take him, but I had to work with my wife to get him to school. CoinPaprika.com, everything's looking pretty flat. XRP was pushing, and it's trying to push, it looks like, 50 cents again. That 50 cents seems to be a barrier. That's all I'll say there. Now, I want to remind everybody, Link2, who is one of my sponsors, these guys have lowered the minimum to get Ripple equity to 5,000. I don't think it goes for the other digital assets on here right now, but they've lowered the minimum. Normally it's $10,000, but they've lowered the minimum on Ripple equity to 5,000. I don't know if that lasts much longer. You can go and check. Folks, like I keep saying, at some point this thing's going to be over, and then everybody's going to be like, oh, I wanted to get some of that. Treasury's liquidity problem exposes Fed to the biggest nightmare, Bloomberg. I don't subscribe to Bloomberg and never would, but I was just going to show you the top of this. JP Morgan measure of Treasury market depth continue to plunge. Bloomberg's gauge of how far yields are from fair value rising. The latest bout of global financial volatility has heightened concerns about regulators' continuing failure to resolve liquidity problems with U.S. Treasuries, the debt that serves as a benchmark for the world. Now, Jon Stewart, he's got a show, a podcast, The Problem with Jon Stewart. The Problem with Jon Stewart. Exciting news. SEC Chair Gensler will be on our podcast next week. Anything you want Jon Stewart to ask, drop your questions here and listen to the episode October 12th. Anytime you see Gary going on any of these type shows, this is just like the Kim Kardashian thing. This is the machine helping him with PR. Make no mistake. This is all staged stuff. And this is part of it. Jon Stewart, in my opinion, is their guy that they use to do the hard-hitting questions, but he's on their team. Make no mistake about that. These people that are behind all this, folks, he's on their team. So yeah, they may have a few structured, hard-hitting questions, but that's where it ends. Okay, and you may see him ask him a few hard-hitting questions, but trust you me, if he does, the answers are already prepared. I'd bet dimes to donuts on that. So, right here, please, and then the library says, please ask Gary why he continues to tell blockchain companies to come in and talk to the SEC when he refuses to answer a single question publicly about how to legally launch and develop public blockchains. He is destroying a valuable industry and many innocent people's lives. And I'll reiterate this point. If Jon Stewart was not a part of the machine, he wouldn't be getting the interview. I saw a thing where Eleanor Terrett is saying, well, why doesn't Gary Gensler come on to Fox Business? Well, there's a reason, because then it can't be scripted. Then he doesn't know what they're going to ask him. They're not going to give him the layups that he already knows are coming, or even the hard questions that he already knows are coming. Representative Bill Huizenga says the fact that SEC and Gary Gensler will have appeared twice with Jon Stewart before attending an oversight hearing with the Financial Committee is alarming. Appearing before Congress is part of your job. We look forward to seeing you in 2023 under new leadership. So they're dangling the threat before Gensler now, folks. I guess Jungle Inc. had put this short out on YouTube. Jungle Inc. is over the target here, folks. This part of that Kim Kardashian thing is not true. And Gary knows it's not true. Listen to this.
Out a stock, you need to disclose not only that you're getting paid, but also the amount, so the source. You were to see an ad, and I think we all did during the Super Bowl, for example, with Matt Damon around crypto. I don't know if in the fine print of that ad, He'd said how much he was being paid personally to promote that. Would that be something that would be required? I'm not going to get into it.
He's not going to get into it because he knows it's not true.
And the question, I'm not going to get into any other specific circumstances, but it always depends on the facts and the circumstances and the anti-touting provisions of the Act.
But I guess what's the distinction? If we were to see an ad on television and
if you tout a stock.
I literally watched a CoinDesk ad. I showed it to you, I think, yesterday. They were literally doing a segment on the Kim Kardashian thing, and I'm watching as they do an ad for Tron, which Gary has not said is or is not a security. And I'm not trying to pick on Tron here. I'm not saying I don't think it is anyway. But the point is that they advertise Tron, then they advertise it on the little thing at the bottom of the screen and talk about how it's one of their sponsors. They don't say anything about how much they were paid or anything like that. And then they proceed to cover the Kim Kardashian thing. So they all know, these are all these people are on the same team. They know that this is not true. All right, moving along. Charles Gasparino scoop, SEC staff. Remember this when I showed you this? SEC staffers are fuming over Gary Gensler's self-promotion on the Kardashian case. And he said that they were mad about how he went out and trotted out on Fox News to promote himself and all, and they said it was because he wanted the Treasury job. I think that the SEC staffers are fuming about something else. I think that they know it's complete, that the whole Kardashian thing was completely staged. This is Kanye West, Kim Kardashian's, I don't follow all this pop culture stuff, but I think it is her ex-husband, or maybe they're married now. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is, listen to what he says. He was interviewed last night by Tucker Carlson, and he said a lot of other things that are eye-catching too. But just this clip right here, and remember who Gary worked for. Gary, I don't say her name on this channel, but Gary worked for you-know-who in her campaign and was literally in charge of the financing on her campaign. You telling me that Gary doesn't know how to get in touch with Kim Kardashian to stage something like this?
It was wild that I didn't know how close my own wife was to the Clintons. I didn't know, I didn't realize it at the time.
For those of you that don't know, that is Kim Kardashian, and that is you-know-who, and that's Kanye West.
That you were married to her. And while I was married to her, how close was she to the Clintons? I mean, cell phone away, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or
trying to craft a social media message away, folks. Now, I want to give all the proper caveats here because I think Charles Hoskinson is one of the good guys. I think that Charles Hoskinson is I think the reason he said this and the way he said it tells me that he's kind of he's the Cardano guy. So, and he was one of the Ethereum founders, but I think that he was one of the good guys. I'm pretty sure I know he was one of the guys that did not accept the Ethereum tokens. And I've said 1,000 times on this channel, I like him. I've even taken a picture with him, and I do like him. So I really don't want to criticize Charles Hoskinson, but I do have to take a little issue with what he said here. But I think I know why he's saying this the way he's saying it. I think Charles Hoskinson knows that we're right over the target, but I think that Charles Hoskinson is, in his own way, is really saying here, look, we need to get away from the ETHgate thing and let's make this about getting Congress to pass the legislation. I think that that's what he's really getting at. Maybe he slipped over his words a little bit here a couple of times, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm not going to go hard on Charles Hoskinson because I do think that he's a good guy. And I don't think that he really meant some of what he said here, but I still have to cover it, and I'll still tell you what I think. But if Charles Hoskinson ever wanted to come on this program to talk about the Ethereum disguised whales and the things that we have found, he would be welcome, and I wouldn't be a jerk to him or anything. I would talk to him about it and say, look, here's the issues. These are the things. I would have John Deaton on too if he wanted to. But he's kind of in a different situation in that he's got the Cardano thing and ADA and all that. So maybe he just wants to go on down the road and get the legislative clarity and all of that and doesn't want to go there as far as, who knows? For all we know, he could have been threatened by the SEC. We don't know. But listen to what he says.
Switch gears and talk a bit about the crypto market at large. Folks wanted me to ask you, what do you think about what's happening with the SEC and all they're doing with crypto regulations? A lot of people not happy with Gary Gensler, the recent Kim Kardashian PR stunt, as well as the SEC Ripple lawsuit and the judge's takes on what's been happening there as it relates to Ethereum and the amicus briefs and things like that.
Yeah. Well, there's some people in the XRP community that are trying to invent this grand conspiracy.
Okay, I got an issue there. We're not trying to invent a grand conspiracy. We have the timeline and we have the video. Now, like I said, he can come on and dispute the facts that we found all day long. He could do that. And I'll have John Deaton on and he can dispute the facts. And, so I just we didn't invent any. I don't think that's a place that he should go. We didn't invent anything. And it's not a conspiracy. And he needs to, before he comes on, he should watch this video on crypto law. Did William Hinman commit a crime? And watch this, because everything in this video is emails and factual type stuff. All right.
There is blatant corruption between the insiders at the SEC and Ethereum. And
we have the calendars stuff. We've got consensus there. We've got Joseph Lubin on multiple videos. Again, he can come on. I'll show all this stuff to him, and then he can comment and tell us where we're wrong and how if the video's wrong, maybe they shot the video wrong. Whatever he wants to do.
I don't honestly think that that's the issue here.
No, he may be right here. It may not be the issue. In other words, I think what he's getting at here, I think he probably didn't want to even have this conversation, but I think what he's getting at is, and he's technically right, okay, that what we need to focus on is legislation and not stir up this whole thing. Well, here's the thing. We wouldn't be stirring it up. All we've ever asked for is a level playing field. We would not be stirring this up if the Ripple, if they had just given Ethereum the free pass and then they had not, in my opinion, vindictively then gone after Ripple, then we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be digging all this up. But instead, not only did they go after Ripple, but then Joseph Lubin went around and started bragging about it and started running his mouth too much and letting people know things that he shouldn't have known on video. That's when we started putting the timeline together and all this stuff. So if we had a level playing field and the XRP holders were not victims of what's going on here, then yeah. And I would venture to bet that if Cardano and ADA and Charles Hoskinson, and if Charles Hoskinson was being sued by the SEC, I can promise you this, John Deaton would be defending him, and we'd be digging up stuff for the same type stuff. I'm an ADA holder. I believe in what Charles Hoskinson's doing. But I don't think this is the direction Charles Hoskinson should be going, because to try to minimize what we found is just not right. It's just not. And I'm not gonna pretend like just because I like him that's you can be friends with somebody. I'm not friends with, don't get me wrong, I'm not friends with Charles Hoskinson. I've just met the guy. Twice I've met him. But anyway, the point is that I think he's one of the good guys, and I think that maybe he would probably like to reel back in some of those comments if he could. Did I finish playing the video? Let's see. I don't think I did. Here you go.
I think the issue is that both the CFTC and the SEC are ill-equipped from law and policy to properly regulate the cryptocurrency space. And so what they're doing is they're just trying to do it the way that they think they can with the framework they have. The SEC only has the ability to regulate if something is a security. If it's not, then it's not their wheelhouse. And so they're one of the very few U.S. regulatory bodies that has a consumer arm, because everyday people own stock. And so they have lots of people, they have lots of enforcement capabilities. And let's be honest here, Luna happened. Yeah. BitConnect happened. OneCoin.
All right, well, that's enough of that. But the point is, he was on Thinking Crypto and he said those things. Now, there is a third option, And I think this is a very viable third option because I've thought this for a long time. I've told you on this channel. I think they all know. I'm not saying all as in Charles Hoskinson. I think there are a few hundred to a few thousand people who have always known who created Bitcoin, who Satoshi Nakamoto is. I think they also know who the Ethereum disguised whales are. Now, if this is all the world's a stage and all the government people and then a few thousand of the major players in crypto are all in on this and they know something we don't know, and for, quote, national security reasons, they can't let us in on it, that's a whole different thing. But we'll never know the answer to that. So all I can go with is what I know. Now here's John Deaton, who would have to be in on the conspiracy if we're all just crazy lunatic conspiracy people inventing a conspiracy, like Hoskinson said.
I was shocked, Kathy, when I read the SEC. I was actually proven wrong. They proved me wrong about something in this case. Before the summary judgment motion was filed, I told the XRP world and the XRP community, stand by, because I predict the XRP might have some evidence against Brad and Chris and Ripple that are not public yet. And it might be a couple bad days for Ripple, publicly, kind of optically. And when I read the summary judgment, there was nothing there. It was just that, hey, they talked about, how they want to promote the XRP ecosystem and how they want to get XRP increased in value and things like that, and how XRP is going to be successful in the future. Everything that a Bitcoin person says, everything that Ethereum person says, everything that Charles Hoskinson from Cardano says about their platform, nothing there that was unique. And as you know, there's no fraud in this case. There's not one allegation of fraud. So this is a pretty straightforward case. And I've become more and more, I try to stay, not too optimistic so I can give people more objective advice, but I just don't see how the SEC wins this case at this point. I really do. I'm going to go on a limb and predict a victory for Ripple and XRP holders.
Oh, John predicts victory. John, you just made the thumbnail. Whoa. Predicts victory. John, you made my thumbnail Friday. Thank you. All right. Then we've got this, folks. Binance, I don't know if this happened, but the reports were that Binance's BNB chain is down for maintenance last night after suffering from a suspected attack worth around $600 million. And then Crypto Vinco, they suspend all deposits. This is one of the largest cryptocurrency hacks in history, folks. You know what I'm going to say. The link's in the top of the description. Ledger is one of my sponsors. Get a Ledger. They have the Nano X and they have the Ledger Nano S Plus. I've got 4 or 5 of these things at least. I store my digital assets on these. It's the only way to really feel safe about what you're doing. Go to the link in the top of the description. Click on it. Tell them DAI sent you. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family to go get a bundle. It's cheaper. They got 10% off these things. Go click on the link.